Hey guys, how's it going? I'm going to be talking about how to fix up and flip a house the safest way possible. In the past few videos, I've talked about how to start with your first rental property to build up passive income and eventually retire after about 5 years if you can get one every year. But this video is going to be more tailored to living in the house and fixing it up over 2 years and then selling it for capital gains after 2 years. Of course, it depends on which state you live in for capital gains, but typically it's 1 to 2 years. If you live in it, you can sell it for capital gains, which is just less money on taxes. So basically, I'm going to be talking about how to do it the safest way possible on a smaller budget and what to focus on every step of the way. So let's just jump into it. Typically, you're going to be looking for a house that's about $115,000. If you can get it lower, that's great. And you really want to have a 3-bedroom minimum. If you can do a 3-bedroom, that would be great. 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom, that's fine too. But typically you won't find those high bedrooms in that price range. But it depends on the area as well. I'm in a more middle tier area, so 115,000. That's going to be hard to find in a 5-bedroom, 4-bedroom, probably going to be like a 2 or 3-bedroom, but you're really wanting to get a 2-bath if that's possible. And then what you're going to be looking for is to buy at 115 or lower and then resell it for 175K to 200K, which actually is the market average for most people trying to buy a family home. They're willing to spend 175K to 200K. So that's just what the desirable budget is for most consumers right now. So going off that, you actually have we're going to do a renovation budget. So you're going to look at houses and you're going to determine, okay, that is really nice, but what can I do to renovate it? So what can I add value to easiest? And we'll get into that pretty soon, but typically we're going to be looking about 15 to 20K is what we need to spend over the next 2 years. Yes, you can do a little bit more, but your margin's going to be a little bit thinner. Of course, if you can get it for lower than 115 and you genuinely think you can sell it for 175 or more, then great. You have a little bit more wiggle room. But since we're kind of having that like 15 to 20K budget, we're actually going to be focusing on different things. It's not going to be full kitchen remodels or anything like that. It's just going to be a minor restore in some areas. So first off, let's imagine that we're going to buy it for 115 and we're going to fix it up for, let's say 20K. That's already 130K in our budget, or 135K actually. And then we're going to sell it for about 185. So that gives us exactly the 50K profit is where we're trying to target. So with that, let's try to figure out what we can do with 20K. And so most of the time, if you are looking for the best things to fix with 20K to have the most efficiency in improving the value, we're going to be talking about paint, flooring, kitchen refreshes or restores, however you want to say that, a bathroom restore, and the curb appeal of a house. So the main things, and I have it kind of set up right here on my screen. So the paint, it costs about, to do a whole house on the interior, you're looking at 1 to 3K depending on the size of the house. It can add 5 to 10K in value. Flooring, so if you want to add the floor planking, the luxury floor planking or whatever it's called, you can add that pretty cheaply. For about 1,000 square foot house, you're looking at about 3,500. So if we're like 1,500, 2,000 is about 7,500 around that area. So probably between the 6,000 to 7,500, especially if we're looking for a single family home. The next one is kitchen refresh, which is you paint the cabinets, you get new hardware, new lighting fixtures, cheap countertops that actually look good, or maybe you paint over them and do the speckle look where you kind of slap paint on there to give that like a granite look, right? And then you need to update the light fixtures and then maybe some other few things that you fix, maybe some knobs on the cabinets, whatever it is. But those are the smaller things. We're not looking to rip out the entire kitchen. That's a lot of problems that people face in the beginning. They're like, oh, I don't like those cabinets. Let's rip them all out. If they're not causing too much problem with space or they don't look terrible, that's fine. As long as there's no damage to them, maybe you could just do a countertop instead of the cabinets and then repaint the cabinets. That would be a very much more cost-efficient way to handle that. Okay, let's skip forward. The next one would be a bathroom facelift or restore. You're going to probably be able to remove the vanity, mirror, toilet, fixtures, all of that. You're probably going to be able to redo all of that for a few $1,000s. Now, a full bathroom restore, you're looking at 15 to 20 grand. So if you just replace a few things, you're not going to be like replacing the tile or anything like that. Maybe a shower head and then clean it, regrout, maybe some other small things. Of course, I would say update sink, vanity, mirror. If the mirror's not too bad, then that's not a big deal. That's not a big cost. But the small things that make it more aesthetically pleasing and very clean to look at, that's going to be the main things. So the next one would be the curb appeal. So we talk about appearances and, that first sticker shock, right? So like, what do we look at? Is it worth that sticker shock? So the curb appeal, the landscaping. You're going to update the landscaping, update the mulch, all that. If you do rock, great. Rock is a great thing. And then pressure washing, do the driveway, do the side of the house. Of course, don't go too overboard with the pressure washing. And then you want to either paint the front door or get new doors. Doors are typically, a nice door is probably about $250. So rather than painting it kind of looks kind of bad, but that's the main thing, is the door should look really good. Any framing around it, very minimal cost. So as you live in this house, so let's jump forward a little bit. Let's say you do spend $20K and you live in it for 2 years. That 2 years, you're going to be paying your typical rent, right? So your typical rent is just going to be you living in it. You're on an FHA. Great. So now you're actually just paying your normal rent as if you would any other place. And basically after you get settled in, probably within first few months, you can start working on some small projects. And then, yes, it's going to cost money. And yeah, we kind of expect that. But with 20K, that's not hurting you too bad. But over the next 2 years, you need to plan out, okay, I'm going to start with the bathroom. I'm going to start with the kitchen or whatever it is. Then I'm going to move to the next things. And over that 2 years, 20K should not be hard to come by. But the main thing is increasing the value of the home, and your cost of living is going to be less because you live in it, and it's an FHA. So you could do a 0% down and you get a better rate. So that's why it's so much less risky than foreclosures or buying investment properties. You wouldn't believe that whenever you go into a bank, you wouldn't believe the rates. I mean, they're going to come in and they're going to say, okay, the rates are 1% higher because it's an investment property, and you have to do 15% down. So, I mean, on a $200,000 house, who has 30K just sitting around let me just fork that up and then I got 10K at closing? That's not really possible. So this is the safest method for you to, over 2 years, make about 50K. So this is what I would do. I would go in, I would look for a house, I would lowball them. I know that sounds bad, but genuinely you want to offer about probably 60% of the value. If you get it, great. But you want to be looking for houses that are in older neighborhoods, because that's going to be where the cost of houses actually improves. So you find a smaller, maybe not so fixed up house in that area, in that subdivision, that people are going to be safe in that neighborhood. They want to live there. Like, a lot of people will want to live in a safe place, a nice community. So that is something that is going to hold value better than any trashy suburb or something like that. Like any terrible house, then that's definitely going to hold value for the next 50 years as if it's a nice community. So that's where we're going to be looking, but maybe just like a smaller house, or maybe a older bathroom, or just older house in general, and you just need to fix up some cabinets or whatever, and maybe appliances. I mean, it really could very easily be a 10 to 20K project if you find the right house. So I would definitely make sure to be selective in what you choose. And I would also make sure to offer 60% value. If you get 70%, 80%, great. I mean, you did amazing, so you'll have such more of a margin because your rent is going to be cheaper. So you can save up a little bit more for renovations. And then at the end, so we're also doing 2 years because capital gains in Indiana, which is where I'm from, is 2 years, and then you actually pay less on taxes. So if I sell it, yes, I'm going to have closing costs, which is going to be about 6%. So I'm going to be in charge of paying that. And number one, you can always sell it yourself. And number two, you can always negotiate with your real estate agent. So you can actually ask them, hey, instead of me paying you 6%, how about $2,000? And they say yes or no or whatever. Or you sell it yourself and you save all of the money. But sometimes that can be sketchy and hard. Doesn't matter. But at the end of the 2 years, you can basically essentially take that 50K and you say, okay, let me report it on my taxes. And then you only pay 10% on it. So great. That's 10% instead of 30%. So you're already saving literally probably 10, 12 grand or something like that, just because you're holding it for a little bit longer. So not a problem there. And what you should probably do on the second year is, okay, let me look at maybe buying a house pretty soon. Let's get some ideas running. And then maybe you could rent that one out while you're fixing up another one. And then whenever you get done and sell that house, move to the next one. So it's an easy transition. So the benefits of this would be, one, FHA. You can get an FHA first time. I mean, it's not first time home buyers. I always mix it up, but it's 0% down. Sometimes it's 3% down or something like that. It's typically a lot better than your investment property, which is going to be 15 to 20%. So you're getting better rates, typically less down. You'll have more money for renovations. It'll be less out of your pocket. And then if you're looking at something that's 100 to 115,000 for the total cost of the house, you're really not spending too much on the mortgage. You're probably going to be spending 900 to 1,000, whenever the average cost of a mortgage right now is about 1,300 to 1,500. So you're looking pretty good. That's with property taxes included too. You'll probably be paying like 900 to 1,000, and probably utilities included. But anyway, so the things that you want to focus on are the cheap renovations that add the most value. So that would be the paint, the flooring, typically the planking, a kitchen refresh, not a full remodel, a bathroom, and curb appeal, which is everything that is just out in the open, anything that looks good, that is very appealing. So the door handles, make sure you get new doorknobs, make sure you replace all if there's any nicks or anything like that on the paint or on the walls, make sure to fill those up, do it the right way. Repair drywall, repair whatever it is. Make sure there's nothing that sticks out that is like, oh, I don't like that. If there's any blemishes on the whole place, you need to fix that first, because that is very little money to fix, but it is pretty time consuming. So that is something, if you're living there for 2 years, you have plenty of time to fix those small little things. So avoid moving walls, avoid getting high-end appliances, because you're going to spend $2,000 for a brand new washer and dryer, and then, oh, guess what? No one cares. They don't need that fancy stuff. So sometimes whenever you have profit margins, people are willing to spend $200K max on average right now. So with that in mind, do not spend $2,000 on washer and dryer, and then $2,000 on a fridge, and then $1,000 on a stove. Don't do that. Don't fall for the trap of, oh my gosh, it looks so much nicer that's going to help improve the margins by triple. No, it doesn't do that. The things that are the foundations that we talked about that add the most value, those are the most important things. Okay. And then whenever you're living in it, I would just go renovate one room at a time. You want to do the loud and dusty work first. You want to save the kitchens and baths for last, and then do it yourself for what's cosmetic, and then hire what's structural. I mean, if you have a little bit of structural work, contract it out. Oh, well, you're going to save so much more money if you do the sweeping, if you do this, if you paint all the cabinets in the kitchen. You're going to save so much more money not contracting that out. But if they're talking about structure in the basement, that we need to add a few beams in there to fit under the floor joists just to make sure that the structure's better. Contract that out. It's not going to be that much money, but you're going to save by not doing the whole thing by contracted work. You're doing the labor yourself, and then eventually, hopefully, you can get to about $50K profit in 2 years, which is great because now the next time you do it, now you have a little bit of cash to just throw around. So I would say this is perfect for first-time investors because you already need a house to live in. So you get this house and you say, okay, well, I'm already here. I might as well fix it up a little bit and make some money while I'm at it. And then I think that genuinely covers almost all of it, is just fixing it up, focus on what you can focus on, and then breaking it up. Okay, the bathroom, the floors, let me set a limit. So let's say we did $2K on each of those things that I spoke about. I have 5 things: the curb appeal, which is actually going to be about $1,000, bathroom facelift, and kitchen refresh, probably $2,000 each. And then flooring is going to be the most expensive thing. That's probably going to be that $500 to $7,500. And then the paint is probably $1 to $3K. So adding that all up, we have $4,000 for the kitchen and bathroom. And then we have probably another $5,000 for the kitchen minimum. So that's $9,000, and then $1 to $3K on painting. Let's say $2,000. We're at 11, and then curb appeal will do another $1,000. So we're at 12 right there on the low end. I would say 12 to 20 grand. That's where we're going to be at, and you'll still make 50 grand by the end of it. So even if you make 40 grand, who cares? You made 40 grand. That's great. And now you can put that on a down payment for maybe your dream home. I mean, that would be enough for a down payment for a $300,000 house. So this is just another safe way to retire early. Use this, do it every 2 years, get some friends to help you out, pay them some money, and work on the house together. Even if you live in the house with 2 other friends, then great. You're splitting the cost, so there's even less for you to worry about even on the monthly side of things. So that's basically the whole gist of it. I told you my criteria. Obviously, it could change if you're in a higher income area. That 115K might just not be possible. But that is all my criteria for how to do it step by step. And then, yeah, I think that's just about it. So if you have any more questions, feel free to comment. I usually respond very quickly, usually within a day or so. If you guys have any like ideas on new videos, I can absolutely go off of some new video ideas and bounce that around and hopefully make some. I'm going to be doing a video once a week, so if you guys really want to see anything, definitely put it in the comment and I will check those out. Please like and subscribe and comment whenever you get a chance. So thank you guys so much, and I appreciate the support.